Hey everyone, and welcome back to Explore Van UK, your place for real world reviews, hints, tips, road trips and adventures on 4 and sometimes 2 wheels. Today we're taking a look at another e-bike solution that could be the perfect accompaniment to van life, the iScooter U4. It promises portability, power and that sweet balance between city commuting and countryside exploring. But does it deliver? Stick with us to find out. Don't forget to check out our other videos on everything campervan and motorhome related, from solar to water, heating to gadgets, tyres to trips. If you like this video, please do hit the thumbs up, it really does help me to know what you like, and you can ask any questions or give feedback in the comments. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of our future videos, please hit the subscribe button and clicking the bell will give you a notification when a new video goes live. Finally, if you do decide to hit the thumbs down, it would be great if you could also leave a comment so I'd know what you didn't like. The U4 from iScooter looks to be a great and very well priced solution for those on the road that want a robust but small, light but powerful e-bike. Unlike some manufacturers that have limited the ability to add a throttle and de-restrict the speed, iScooter still do allow this. So we're here at our favourite closed road circuit to put it through its paces in UK and EU compliant mode, as well as unrestricted with the throttle, and we'll also try it out with no power at all. We'll see how it handles in the real world and give you all the info so you can decide if the U4 is the e-bike for you. So let's get on with it. The U4 from iScooter is a compact folding bike with a price tag of under £500. You can check out the latest offers and any discounts with the links in the video description. It's available in either black or white. It arrived well packed and with clear instructions for the final assembly, which even with one person was pretty easy. With a motor rated at 250 watts continuous with a peak of 500 watts, a quoted range of 35 to 55 miles, which from our experience is pretty accurate depending on the terrain and assistance level, a 36 volt 10.4 ampere hour removable waterproof battery and a 2-year warranty, its specs are good. The semi-rugged tyres give good on-road performance and off-road ability, where the front suspension also smooths the paths nicely. The saddle is comfy and disc front and rear brakes give great stopping performance. At around 20 kilograms without the battery and just over 26 with it, it's not one of the lightest, but with the price, it's where we'd expect it to be, making it manageable and feeling robust and stable on the road. It comes with a throttle in the package which can be fitted and connected or disconnected and removed to keep it compliant on the public road. And the controller is simple and easy to use. The ease of folding and unfolding the U4 can clearly be seen here, and it does fold to a very compact size. Now let's see how it performs on the track, first in EU and UK compliant settings. At the end of the tests we'll share the comparison on speeds and effort for each lap. So with that power limit up to 15.5 miles an hour and no throttle, so I've got to keep pedalling to keep that motor working. Now you'd think the small wheels and the sit-up ergonomics of the U4 would make it a bit strange to ride, but actually it's quite comfortable. It's not the most dynamic of riding positions by any means, but for a bike to potter around on, to pop to the shops, then it's a great solution, and it feels really well built and comfortable and surprisingly nimble and well built for on the road. So we're coming to that steepest part of the track now. The single gear is relatively low, I'm going to give it a little bit of assistance, but the motor's now, I can see, giving them maximum amount of power that it can to help me up here. I know from past experience that this hill does feel steep without power, whereas there I'm not even out of breath getting to the top of it. Later on, when I do the lap without any power on, you'll see just how much effort I have to put in. Now, going downhill here, being a small bike, you'd think as the speed builds up we might get a bit of a wobble, but it's actually quite stable. You know, I'm feeling confident. That's at 22 miles an hour now, and I'm not in the least bit worried that the bike's going to go out from under me or anything. Now, as we get this side, so I'm keeping that pedal going just to keep the motor powered. We're cruising along at 15.5 miles an hour, exactly as we should be to stay compliant. And coming into the end of the lap with a really simple and easy power assisted lap. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of assistance to start off the line with the pedals, but now we're running entirely on motor power. The throttle's enabled and I've upped the limit on the speed limiter to what I think is 30 kilometers an hour, indicating by the computer. It doesn't seem to have a completely unlimited, so we're running at 18.2 miles an hour, which would be about right. So we're just going to go all the way around on the lap using just the throttle. I'll try and avoid pedaling at all. When we get to the steepest part of the track, I suspect I will have to help it out a little bit. So here we are approaching the steep section. I'll leave it to the last minute to help out, to see if it can do it entirely on motor. It may just about do it, but it's going to be painfully slow, so I'm going to help it out. But now we're up at the top, back to purely using the motor. So yeah, I can, on the back straight, on the flat, the motor's kicking us along at that 18.1, 18.2 miles an hour with the throttle fully down. Now there is a setting in the computer for cruise control, which I have got enabled, so if I take my hand off the throttle, the motor continues to run unless I hit the brakes. So that's quite a nice rest for the thumb if you are using it. So coming into the finish now, on what is definitely the easiest lap you really could possibly have, and hitting those brakes cuts the motor from the cruise control. Now for the final lap, I've switched off any power assistance at all, so the bike is purely being powered by my leg power. There's nothing helping me out. I've left the controller switched on just so I can see the speed that I'm going or not going. So at the moment it's 12 miles an hour. The single gear on the bike, as I said earlier, is quite low, so I would really have to get my cadence up to get, if I go as flat out as I can. So 16 miles an hour, 17. I can just about do 18 miles an hour at my fastest cadence, but I'm not going to be doing that all the way around. So what I'll aim to do is to have a leisurely ride round the rest of the lap. Now, going up the hill here, having tired myself out a little bit there, I'm going to have to put the effort in to get up there. Now, and this is where having that lower gear, if the battery ever does run out on you, then you will be glad for it, rather than it being that single gear being higher. So yeah, you know, I can really feel the difference of not having that motor assisting me, standing up to use my weight to help. So yeah, that steep section without power isn't that easy, but possible thanks to that low gear. So whilst when powered, being able to comfortably go along at that 15.5 powered limit with the limiter on, I would say my comfortable speed with no power is nearer the 11-12 miles per hour, and even that is with a reasonably high cadence. When we have a look at the stats for this lap, it's undoubtedly going to be the slowest, and obviously also the highest effort, looking at my heart rate. But you know, cycling this bike, if that battery ever did go flat and you needed to get home, it doesn't feel dissimilar to a similar sized folding bike. And here we go, coming into the finish. So as we'd expect, and I predicted, that last lap definitely was the highest effort, with my heart rate averaging 135 beats per minute. The pedal assistance makes a big difference, taking it down to 105, and with the throttle enabled and no need to pedal at all except for right at the start and on the hill, only 93 beats per minute. As well as putting it around the track, we've also used the U4 out in public, and it's a great little run around. And just as home on the off-road trails. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to be taking it up and down mountains, but the tyres and that front suspension make for a pretty comfortable ride. The motor and pedalling work well together, and the brakes bring you to a stop if you need to. The build quality and sense of robustness of the U4 also fills you with the confidence that you're not risking damaging it. So as you've probably guessed, we liked the U4, and we can see why it would be a great choice for many people who want two wheels to get around in a city or country ride, whether it's for fun, a commute or a shopping trip. Thanks for watching our video, and as always, if you have any questions or feedback, please pop them in the comments below. If you find the video useful, please like, share and consider subscribing.